Hello and welcome to another episode in my Warhammer 40k Conquest series. In this episode we'll be following the painting guides in issue 25 for your Redemptor Dreadnaught. We'll also be having a look at the community focus section and seeing what you guys have done with your Redemptor Dreadnaughts. So stay tuned. So hello and welcome back. Alright, so let's get cracking, shall we? So for painting your Redemptor Dreadnaught, I still have mine in the sections as I described in the building issue. The link will be in the top corner there. It's a lot easier to paint like this as well, and it's a lot easier to store, so I'm not going to glue it. I'm going to keep it like this because it has the key lock system, so it doesn't fall apart on the battlefield. What we're going to do for painting it is we're going to black out some details with Abaddon Black. We'll then move on to Lead Belcher for the metallic areas and Retributor Armor for the details. Then we'll do our shades of non-oil and Agrax Earthshade for the silver and gold areas. And then after that we'll fill out some little details with the Mephiston Red and Rakar Flesh. The Mephiston Red will be for some of the cables and any lenses for the sights on weapons, and the Rakar Flesh will be for paper details or to do the Mechanicum insignia at the back. And then after that we'll base it. So let's get cracking. So as you noticed, I have already base sprayed it with Macragge Blue, and what I'm going to do another coat over that, a nice thin coat, just because the finish between the spray and the pot paint is slightly different. So I'm going to get my large base brush. I'm going to mix a bit of water in there just to thin it out enough. Right, so I want to get a nice thin consistency, something like that, and then we'll just start going over all the panels, making sure that we don't blot out any of the details. If you get a bit too thick in there, you can always just run the bristles through the details, and yeah, should be alright. As you can see already, the finish is very slightly different. It's just a little bit paler, so you make sure you cover the entire model so you don't miss any bits when we start painting in the details. Okay, so once you've done that, next bit is Abaddon Black, and what we're going to do with this is, yeah, nice consistency, get your medium base brush and start painting in the details. So the pipes, for example, you've got your lenses there, have the missile silos here, these areas which you are going to paint with Lead Belcher later, and the same with these big pipes and stuff like that, the exhaust vents. I mean, it's up to you really, but you know, you got like little pipes and stuff, these bits, like the entire weapon is essentially painted black. Okay. Get it on, and then you can use the smaller brush to spread it around if there's bits that are too thick, but you can really get it all covered real quickly like this. Get those bits that you're going to paint. Yeah, so essentially anything that is in a panel. Alright, so after you've filled in all the black areas, like so, you then want to start with your Lead Belcher, and you're going to, you might need to reference the magazine just to see roughly where you're going, but just put a nice even coat of all those areas that need to be painted in. like so, and do areas like this as well, and areas like that, and all these mechanical bits that are underneath the armor plates. And then of course you got your exhausts, you got all this mechanical gear here, you got these power cable pipe things back here as well. Well, it might even just be exhausts. And of course you got these areas here you want to paint up. I'm going to paint these little barrels, so the side bits of them as well, and these barrel parts as well. And remember, don't worry about making any messes, you can always neaten up at the end. The most important thing is that you get these base colours on, because it is the lengthiest part of the project. Do it. Do that. Do inside of the fingers. You can do flamer. Got these cables here as well, and so on and so forth. Right, next up, once you've done with the belcher, is to get your Retributor gold and start painting in some of your details. So you've got the skull and crossbones here. You have this cylinder thing here you can paint up. For your flamer, you'd like to paint that bit and maybe the ammo cell there. And then more importantly, because as always you can paint whichever you like, however you like, but it's going to be the trim of the sarcophagus and the viewing port, like so. And if you're confident to reach it, the Terminatus crux, can't believe I remembered the name of that, and also the Aquila on the front as well. Right, so once you've finished doing all the gold details, like so, we're gonna hop on to the non-oil and Agrax Earthshade. So with the non-oil, you wanna do all the usual silver areas, darken them down nicely, and you can go as heavily as you like. If you want, you can always go over a second time over certain areas just to darken them down a bit more. And then the Agrax Earthshade, just again, do how you like. What I do is with these gold details, don't do it too heavy, just try and push it into the recesses a bit. But with details like the flamer, yeah, I like to go a little bit darker, so I normally put 2 coats on like the flamer, the ammo container, whatever it is, yeah, just so that I get that more brassy colour rather than gold. Alright, so once your washes have dried, you'll start to see that it's starting to come together nicely. So we'll move on to Mephiston Red, and with this we'll be picking out small details like the lenses on sections like this. And what you want to do is try and leave a little bit of the black showing around the edge, but if you don't worry too much, as we will get a red wash shade thing to colour in later. To be honest, I'm just going to blow it all in, and then I'm going to go back over with non-oil to shade in the sides, and then I'll go over the middle bit with the Mephiston Red. Also, all the power cables, so the ones that you haven't painted silver yet, paint this. Whereas we've got these thick cables here. And once you're done with the Mephiston Red, we then move on to Rakarth Flesh and just do the scroll work on the front to do a couple of layers on this because it is a bit translucent and we want to block out that blue as much as possible. There we go, nice and easy. And also you may have noticed that I didn't paint the Mechanicum stamp on the back. And that's because in the magazine they show you the alternative paint scheme, sorry, like so, which I would have done anyway, so it looks badass. Now it says to paint black first, build up the Rakov flesh, and then finish painting the logo. You then do the Agrax Earth shade over it, but that'll take you a lot longer. Now what you want to do really is paint the Rakov flesh first. The reason why you do this is because it's a lot easier to paint Rakov flesh over blue, which is a lighter tone, than over black, which is quite a darker tone. So just paint the entire thing in Rakov flesh. Okay, so once you've allowed it to dry, the next thing to do is very carefully with a nice point on your brush is fill in the eye sockets. Like so. A little nostril. And then you wanna just paint a line straight down the middle, like so. And do the same on the other bit as well. So you paint the black on this side after doing your line, and you try not to get it up onto the skull. You push it as close as you can, like that, and then you switch over on the other side and you paint the other side on the skull. It doesn't take that long, but it looks pretty damn cool. And then lastly, we just get some Agrax Earth shade and we paint it on the scroll work like that. Trying to get it into the folds because you want to define those folds just to give it more depth as well. So you just paint that half, and then you paint it on this half, like so. It's got that nice weathered beaten look already. And then that's it. Right, so remember, when doing it, don't use a brush, use a tool. Use a coffee stirrer, a popsicle stick, modelling sculptural tool like this, whatever you got. The only brush you should ever use is a really old, cheap, beaten up one. But even then you might find it struggle a little bit with this because it's a texture paint and it doesn't work the same way as regular paints do. I remember in the previous episode where I covered this, you don't want to have it all flat, you want to have some texture and some sort of height and depth to your bases. So spread it around, get it right to the edge like that, like you're spreading butter on toast. Alright, there we go, see, and it's not so flat, it's quite bumpy and wonky and stuff. As I've shown you before, you can scratch it off the edges, or you can just use the edge of a kitchen paper or cloth, whatever you use. Just press around the edges like that. And then you can just paint around the edge in black if you wish, but I'd say save it until we've finished the bases properly, because in the future we're going to have to do a wash on it, and then we're going to have to do, well, not a wash, a shade, and then we're going to be doing dry brushing as well. So remember which way it went, like that. remembering not to push on the top. Check my build video and you'll see why you shouldn't push from the top. And boom, 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 boom. It should just pop in. Like that. There we go. There we go. And there you have it. Your first Dready is all ready to be fielded on the tabletop. And to be honest, you could be happy with that as it is, and you know, any extra work that you do on it in the future with the future paints is only going to just enhance it. But it looks fantastic already. Look at that, marvellous. So it's still very much mobile and posable, but it looks pretty damn good. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. So welcome back to the community focus section. Now let's get cracking and have a look at what you guys have been doing with your Redemptor Dreadnaughts. We'll start with Nathan Pooley, and he's done in Crimson Fist scheme, and he's also done some lovely bits of battle damage and everything like that, and it looks really effective. It looks really good, and he's even used like half a barrel on the base to make the base more interesting. It is a really good scheme that he's done there, but then he's going to put an ultramarine sign on it. It was so good until you did that. I'm joking. It looks brilliant, so keep up the good work. Next we have Peter Chave, or Chavi, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, and he's done himself Ancient Cortez of the Crimson Fists. So he's done himself a lovely Crimson Fist scheme Redemptor Dreadnaught there, and yeah, he's got like a Crimson Fist specific decors that you can add to the miniature as well, and it looks really, really good. We have Andrew Dempsey, and he's done a Dark Angels successor chapter, The Wrath of Caliban, and it's a very dark colour scheme, but it's got that nice bright red to break it up, and it looks really effective. And again, he's gone for some additional decors as well to help sort of emphasize that it is a successor chapter of the Dark Angels. Next, Paul Gillings, and he's done straight up from the instructions in the magazine the Conquest Redemptor Dreadnaught, and it's a great example of how it can look if you know, follow this step by step. Dominic Miles, and he's gone very much Dark Angels, so there's lots of Dark Angels and Crimson Fists in this, but yeah, it's a lovely clean green that he's gone for there. He's got a little transfer as well, and it looks really good, and nice use of cork sheets as well to make a rocky base, just to give it a bit more elevation. So yeah, that's a cracking paint job. And then we've got another Crimson Fist with more decors, a nice big one on the side of the arm there, and that's by Tandela. So he says this before he finished it, and then I think he posted, yeah, there you go, he posted a picture of it finished, and a use of the hatch as well that you get from the Rise of Ruins terrain set. So yeah, no, it looks really, really good. He's done a really good paint job there, so keep it up. Next is Darren Harper, and he said it's still a work in progress, but it's a fantastic looking Space Wolves Redemptor Dreadnaught, and again another one with a decor on the arm. So there's a lot of you out there who have got these decors to use up, but yeah, it looks really, really good so far, so keep it up, and I can't wait to see the finished product. Alright, now we've got David Draper, with another Chaos Space Marine. Oh, sorry, I meant Dark Angels. Again, he's done a little bit of conversion work there just to emphasize that it is Dark Angels. So the wings on there and the front decor is sort of customized as well. So he must have clipped out the skull and then put in the sword. It looks really good. Okay, so now we have David Mcclelland, and he has done a home-brewed chapter called the Solar Wolves chapter, but he's done this as if it's joined the Death Watch. So he's got the dark black armor with the silver on one side, and it looks really, really good. And it's also got some Death Watch decors as well added in there as well. It looks really, really good. I do like it, so keep up the good work there. Stefan Darroch, and his lovely purple scheme there. I'm not quite sure on the chapter that he's doing, but it doesn't matter because it looks cool. And yeah, no, I'd like to see the rest of the army as well, because a whole army with that scheme would look very striking on the battlefield. Paul Gaskell, now he's showing off a bit here. This isn't the Redemptor Dreadnaught that you get with the Conquest series. It's not the easy to build one, it's the multi-part one that you get in the big box. And his excuse was that he hasn't got around to building that one, so I let him off and I'm showing it anyway. But it looks fantastic, and he's done a really good job with the highlighting there as well. Nice creative base, and a nice striking pose as well, so you know he's out there to shoot some shit up. And then we have Solomon David Ambrose Hicks. That's an awesome name, by the way. And he apologised because he said it wasn't the best pick, but it looks great. It looks fantastic. It's a nice combination of like a dark red, dark browny red, and like a brassy colour as well. It's very striking. And yeah, I wanna see better pics of that dude, because that picture's not doing it justice, and I bet that looks fantastic. So give us a full army picture of that, please. And then Piaris Seamus McCallow Egerton. That's a very, very long name. It's an awesome name, but it's a long name, and I think you're trying to catch me out there. But he put down a link to his Instagram, so I'll put it in the comments below. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. He's added a little extra detail to it as well, just to make it a bit more sort of higher ranking. But he didn't deviate too much from the paint scheme. And he's done a little half barrel on the base, which seems to crop up a lot. But the base looks fantastic as well. So there's plenty of inspiration there for those who want to keep it as an Ultramarines Redemptor, but want to do a little something extra. And then finally, we have Mike O'Neill, and he has done another fantastic scheme here, because it's got the Blood Angels thing on it. Then I thought maybe it's Death Company. Death Company is red stripes on black armor. But the giveaway that is Death Watch is because the left arm is silver, and it has the Inquisition stamp fixed on it as well. And it's a very effective scheme. It looks really good, and I can't wait for him to get the base done and everything. And I want to see a bit more of that Death Watch army as well, because I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. He's made a great use of transfers on there as well. And yeah, again, there's another option to how you can paint your Redemptor Dreadnaught, and you can do that with the paints that you have as well. So that's all we have time for in this episode. There was a lot of entries there, so a lot of inspiration on what you can do with your Redemptor Dreadnaughts, and I hope you feel inspired by that. and I hope that the step-by-step guide that I've done on the magazine issue helps you guys to get some paint on that model with a bit more confidence on what you're doing. And yeah, please put a comment in below or share this video. Make sure you do subscribe as well, because I'm going to be getting these videos out a lot more often. And don't forget to check out my good friend Big Mac Dan Skull, and links in the description below, so that you can keep up to date with all the latest issues and the contents and a bit more to go with it as well. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.